I'm prepared for whatever comes my way. Depression, loneliness, I've felt it before, I'll feel it again.
Okay, I've spent a good amount of my 20s in New York City, and quite honestly, the memories I have here are some of my favorites. And yet, I never had a desire to move here. I was perfectly fine with letting New York be this wild escape from the life that I'd always known. It seemed so crazy, even my delusional ass couldn't even begin to think about the idea of me moving. So, what changed?
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so if you've seen my last YouTube video, you would know that I recently uprooted my entire life and moved to New York City. The city of dreams, the city of lights, the city of people will expect me to be like, oh, like, I'm here to hustle. I came here to make it. I came here to make $10 billion in trading stocks. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 3 main reasons why I moved to New York City. It might be 4. I feel like it's always this massive debate of like LA versus New York. At least in my opinion, when I was moving out of LA, I feel like I had a lot of friends that genuinely were like, why is LA so bad that you feel like leaving? And I felt like I honestly had to prove myself to a lot of people, which I know like I don't have to prove anyone jack diddly shit, but I felt like a lot of people low-key were like coming for me when they were like, you think New York's gonna be that much different than LA? You think that New York's this fantasy land that you see on TikTok, bitch? Like, I honestly felt like so many people just thought that I wanted to move to New York because of like, I saw like a TikTok of some coffee shop that I wanted to go to. I feel like this video would be a good video to just talk to you guys about because I know a lot of you guys are looking to move out of your hometowns, looking to make a transition, looking to make a big shift in your life. And if there's ever a shift to do, it's moving to a completely new state. Subscribe if you haven't already, because why not? Let's keep this party going on this channel, shall we? Let's get into the reasons. Reason number 1 why I moved to New York is quality of life. I know that sounds crazy when it's like, quality of life, like that sounds so depressing, but okay, so I grew up in Southern California. Up until last month, I had never even lived an hour outside of my hometown. When I was in college, I spent a lot of time on campus. You kind of lived in this community where everyone would like walk around, everyone was a lot more social. You know, you would go to like that one street by your college that had like all the coffee shops and all the bars. And I guess what I'm trying to say is having things very walkable near you, that flow feels so good. After college, when I moved to LA, that flow pretty much disappeared. I personally found it really, really hard to be motivated to leave my house. I love walking in cities. Like, it's my favorite thing to just walk around for hours. I'll walk for miles. It's really therapeutic for me to just watch people interact and like see new stores and new restaurants and take pictures of like places that I want to remember. And living in LA, I didn't walk at all. When I was in New York, I would actually go to the park. Like, I would go to the park. I would go to the park with my friends and we would just lay in the grass and have a picnic, and friends of all different people would come and say hi, and it was a very community-based feeling. I just felt like all of the most spontaneous, youthful, joyful, those moments that made me feel like a kid happened in New York City. They didn't happen in LA. Like, they just didn't. And that's different for everyone. Some people might find their flow better in LA. I just realized I could eliminate a lot of my quality of life problems by literally just being in a walkable city. The same people that will be like, oh my God, but living in LA, you guys have the beach, are the same people that do not go to the fucking beach. Like, let me tell you, and I'm a beach person and I don't even go to the beach because the effort of driving is already, you're driving an hour to the beach. Parking is expensive, if there's even parking. Even when I literally lived, like this is the perfect example. I literally lived on the water, 5 minutes away from Malibu Farms, which is like one of my favorite restaurants in Malibu. I couldn't even go to Malibu Farms. Living in Malibu, I was as close as you could possibly get, and even my ass could not find parking at the beach. The point is, like, that should just prove my point. Like, living in LA, it is so difficult to even just exist and enjoy the literal fucking city you live in. If you can't even get to enjoy what is 5 minutes away from your house, how are you supposed to enjoy the entire city? The number 2 reason why I moved to New York is actually the weather. I know a lot of people are gonna freak out when I say that. Why the fuck would you move to New York versus LA for the weather? I don't know about you, but I really love seasons. Like, seasons are great. Seasoning on those seasons. People are gonna be like, oh my God, New York fucking sucks in the winter. It's brick. I know that. I know. I'm prepared for whatever comes my way. Depression, loneliness, I've felt it before, I'll feel it again. No, but honestly, I just have to go through it myself. And I know people are gonna say, why? When you can live in sunny California. Beverly Hills. I just feel like when you grow up with no seasons for the majority of your life and you're now an adult, it gets old. Okay, so why do I think I'll survive the winter? I'll give you like 4 reasons. Number 1, my family is from Buffalo, New York, which means we have the New York surviving the cold, warm-blooded gene flowing through our veins. We're Polish. Number 2, my boyfriend is Norwegian, so he already has dealt with the most extreme version of Northern Europe winter. I feel like if you can survive that, New York is a piece of cake. Number 3, I actually do very well in cold temperatures. Girl, I've camped in a sleeping bag in 4 feet of snow in the Canadian winter. The wind doesn't scare me. I mean, the wind does scare me a little bit in New York, but the snow doesn't. And the temperature, it really doesn't scare me. I'm here for the challenge, you know? I think we'll be fine. I'm honestly excited. I feel like everything's gonna be fine. Also, I heavily collect jackets. Like, I'm not even kidding. I collect jackets. They're my favorite thing to wear. I didn't get to wear any of my jackets living in LA. I know someone's gonna quote this and be like, this bitch is moving to New York so she could wear her jackets. Yeah. To be quite honest, that's a big part of it. Yeah. I didn't collect these jackets for nothing. The 3rd reason why I moved to New York is inspiration. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but when you're not living in a place that stimulates you, that stimulates your creativity, that promotes creativity, creativity just kind of dies. New York has so many points of inspiration for me, and it just allows me to create more freely. I feel a lot less insecure here to create. And I don't want this video to be like an LA versus New York thing. That could be a whole other video. The fact that there's so many people in LA hustling to make it on TikTok or like be an influencer, and yet the culture around creating content in public is still so taboo. It's so embarrassing. It's so looked down upon. It's honestly crazy. If I ever wanted to go out in LA and like just shoot a cool creative idea or take an outfit picture, the simplest things, you're just kind of like judged and you're looked at, and it's really weird. The vibe is off. However, one of the cool things I really realized about New York, even way before I thought I might end up moving here, I would see literally all the time a girl taking a picture of her friend in an outfit. I would see girls crossing the street, flipping their hair, someone filming an iPhone video. I have fully seen girls on the side of the street with a tripod, getting their content. I don't look at them in a weird way. I don't like take videos of them and put them on like fucking influencers in the wild. You know, it could be possible that the girl taking the picture of her friend or a model is the designer of that dress and is trying to get content to promote her brand. Like, there's nothing weird about that at all. Maybe it's their creative passion. Maybe they're wanting to become a photographer and they're trying to expand their portfolio. Like, all of those things are very normal. And it's so crazy to me how they're still looked at as very weird and taboo in LA, and everyone feels like they need to film them and like focus on them and make them feel uncomfortable. They're just trying to be creative. And there's nothing weird or out of the ordinary about that. I mean, if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you guys have probably seen me making so much more fashion content and just expressing myself a little bit more freely. People living in New York genuinely make it a lot more comfortable to shoot content and just be creative and be yourself. Even if you're not shooting content, the people in New York genuinely make it so much less stigmatized to be yourself and be creative and just live your best fucking life. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you feel this way in your hometown, I relate to you, even though I lived in LA. So yeah. Okay, so one of the last reasons why I moved to New York is I was seeking a challenge. I was seeking a challenge. I was seeking growth. I was seeking bettering myself, leveling up in myself and in my career. I feel like no matter where you're from, whether you live in LA or you live in a small town in the Midwest or you live in freaking Jamaica, like, no matter where you live, if you live in your hometown, you're always gonna have that feeling of like, what else is out there? You know, like, how big can I really do life? How insane can life really get? The Ariel effect, you know, it's like the Disney princess effect. You see this like big city, this different place, this place that's like across the world, across the water, and you see this version of yourself that like could live there in the future, and you just start to fantasize, you know, you're just like, what would my life be like if I was brave enough and crazy enough to make that transition. Just because you move to a different place doesn't make you a different person. You still have to work on the same issues you're dealing with. All of the problems that you want to fix about yourself, they don't go away just because you move to a new city. Like, we are not discounting any of that. But I deadass thought about moving to Portland. I thought about moving to Washington. I was this close relocating my entire family to upstate Washington. Like, I was this close. I know it sounds dramatic, but I realized if I would have done that, that would have been me running away from so many of my dreams that I never realized. And I know I don't have to live in New York to be a fiction writer or be a DJ. I could be a DJ in Portland, Oregon, you know, but I have to shoot for the stars, you know? And I think that's the only way to do it. So even if you're not doing anything creative at all, I'm a firm believer in the fact that putting yourself through challenging situations only helps you in the long run. It makes you have better character. It makes you have more empathy. The best years of my life, which are supposed to be my 20s, haha, I feel like I should spend it seeking uncomfortability and seeking challenge and seeking growth. And me going from LA to basically live in a log cabin, which was what I was looking for, at the end of the day, it just didn't feel right. This is the first time I've ever lived outside of my hometown. This is the first time I've ever lived in a place with seasons. There's so many firsts happening. It all feels super exciting, but honestly, like, more than anything, it feels really right. Everything feels exactly how it should be. I do miss my car. Anyway, I will keep you updated if anything changes, if I end up hating it here. I don't think I will, but I guess I'll end it with, if you're thinking of making that transition, moving to a new city, you're a little bit nervous, you're a little bit scared, I say do it. This is your sign, because so many things have happened just in the last 3 weeks of me living here that tell me that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So if you need a sign to do it, to make that shift, this is your sign. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna fall into place, and don't be scared. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for this video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I was about to say Twitter, but oh my God. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week for a new video. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys later.